Because in the States, like not many people wear a mask, right? In general. Because in
Is that
Japan,
right?
like people wear mask all year long.
Before COVID,
Right.
like the
Before COVID,
Japanese
yeah.
culture was all,
Yeah.
yeah. We would try to concoct ideas like how to get out of like going to church. You know, did you ever do that when you were a kid? Like, I'm gonna cough really loud and like I just don't want to go today, and try to make yourself look real sick. Like, nope, get out, let's go. But we didn't have masks.
But it really, I think when you're traveling, I think it's a good idea to wear the mask.
That's right.
Nothing worse than getting on a plane and smelling Vicks Vapor Rub and everybody around you's coughing and you're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I always carry a mask with me for sure. What were you going to say, Tadao? You got to.
When I was trying to update last recording to YouTube and everything, it just marked February 13th. I'm like, it's just right before Valentine's Day. So like, I thought it would be a good idea to record something for the Valentine's Day theme and everything. Now we're talking about masks, so like it just made me giggle.
And Vicks
Well, let's
Vapor
shift.
Rub.
We can shift topics.
Yes.
For
I was going to
sure.
say, Vicks
Yeah.
Vapor
Yeah, we
Rub is the smell of love, right?
Furzana and I had a really difficult week. And when I thought about Valentine's Day theme, like I'm single right now. What advice I can give to
I'm sorry, Tadao, if you're looking for something upbeat from me, it's going to be a little depressing because it's like, do I go get myself, not that do I go and get myself flowers? And I think, because I buy myself flowers now and then, cheer myself up. But I'm not going to do it on Valentine's, Day because that's going to be a little sad.
And they're 5 times more expensive.
And expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
For us cheapos.
Crazy.
I'm enjoying my solitude, so like I'm totally okay with it. But like when it comes to this like romantic relationship, I think Victoria or Debbie, you two are more of a specialist.
Why do you say me? Actually, I do have a very special person that when I tell you that there's no other way other than God for this to have ever happened, that's true. Especially I was living in Belize and it was Lobster Fest weekend, which I never went out for because it was always so crowded with tourists. So a friend of mine was like, just go eat a lobster with me tonight. And I was like, you know what? I'm just really not feeling it. And that same weekend, my ex was supposed to come and fix some things on the house and he bailed. He didn't show. So I went and we were having dinner and this gentleman comes over and was like talking about, he was just very nice looking, was talking about his lobster and how great it was and that he's on vacation, and my friend's kind of nudging me and I'm like, no, I am not trying to get hooked up with this tourist of all things, and but let me back up and say why. There's nothing wrong with tourists. I am a tourist, but there are certain people that live on the island that use that as an opportunity to live. You know what I mean? And I just didn't want to have that tied with my name at all, ever.
Right.
And so anyway, my friend ended up asking him to sit down and talk. And he asked if I would go to dinner the next night. And I was like, only if I could bring a friend. And it rained. And so anyway, back and forth. And I just know that it was divine intervention because I was so closed off to ever. My thing was I came in alone to this world and I'm going out alone. And I really don't have time for the nonsense. But he is truly a really good friend above everything else. He is just a genuine person, which the doubter in me always was looking for, like, what is your motive here? Like, why are you even talking to me? What's the deal? Because I don't need to babysit anybody and I don't need to support anybody. So I don't need the hassle of it all. And it just organically worked out to where we're just really, really close. And he's like really so thoughtful. And I think it's funny to me how God does things, because I'm from the South and you don't mix cultures. It's just not something that I was raised doing. But it's taught me so much about just to love, not that I didn't love people from Guatemala before, but I never even thought that way. I never thought that I would be in a relationship with someone that their mother tongue was Spanish, or, whatever. And so it's taught me so much about myself, as far as I really didn't know shit about life when I really thought that I did. And all the decisions that I made were my decisions. Like, I would get into something and then say, oh God, please bless this. And so I had to really go back and repent for that. Like, it should have been ordained by him in the first place. I shouldn't have to go back and say, oh, bless this, that I've screwed up so bad. And so I just kind of let it unfold and just naturally develop in such a beautiful way that it's amazing to me that a relationship can be so easy and so smooth and so natural. It's just the most natural thing in the world to want to share my day with that person, or to want to talk about something exciting, and he just encourages everything I do. He's my biggest cheerleader, and loves my dog like I do. So that's a big plus. And my daughter and her husband have met him and love him to death. But, at my age, that's the last thing you think about is courtship or finding someone new, or, okay, that ship has sailed. I'm done. I can just do me now. But anyway, so that's my Valentine story.
What would you say that relationship shows you about you? Like, what does he reflect in you that you've noticed the most?
It has shown me about me. I never realized I had so much patience. Or I've always been a very genuine and generous. I've always been a very generous person. So I've always given too much, probably. And I think with this situation, I don't have to try. It just comes naturally. So it's not about, oh, look at this new tie I got you, or, cufflinks or whatever. It's just, I'm so excited. He's always so excited to see me. I have to wonder why sometimes, because I don't think I'm that big of a thrill. But I think it's really just taught me that if you open your heart, if you really get to know yourself first, because I really had to get to know me first. I had to get to the end of me first. And I think that with me being wide open, so raw inside with everything that I'd gone through, it was just such a refreshing experience. And it wasn't like anything that I had ever experienced in my life. It was just so natural, so organic, and so easy. And I guess the hardest thing for me to learn, and what I learned about myself, was life does not have to be chaotic to be good. Life does not have to be full of drama, or me always trying to make something right or fix something that I didn't even break. That life is really supposed to be good. It's not supposed to be full of ups and downs and twist and turn and nauseous feelings and, distrust and all of the things that I had ever known. So it's taught me that I can truly relax. And if it does go south, then I've enjoyed the ride. It's been a good thing for me. And it's taught me a lot about what I guess mature love looks like. There's just a difference in a mature love and the puppy love, or the infatuation, or the you're so hot kind of love. It's just it's just like a warm blanket, just like a cozy warm blanket. That one thing that you want when you come home, it's been raining and it's cold, and you just want a bowl of soup and a quilt. I guess that's the best way I can describe that.
Is that sun?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It's like a spotlight.
And Tadao, I thought you were just beaming with this light. The
I know
little
when
My
Victoria
love
was talking
story.
about love, and then my face started to be
Yes, your
Yes,
glow.
it's a big experience. It's totally different than, like I said, anything I've ever experienced. And I think the great thing is we laugh so much together and at each other, because you can just imagine how sometimes things in translation get so messed up, and it's hilarious. Yeah, he's funny. He's a lot of fun. He keeps me on my toes.
When did you become more comfortable with this coldness? Because many people aim for, well, not intentionally maybe, but like aim for drama and like this excitement of a relationship.
Yes. And I think, especially being raised in that atmosphere, you kind of think that's the norm. And almost if there's not something chaotic going on, then you get this feeling in your gut that something is about to happen. There's dread and doom. There's a
Right.
feeling of, things have been too quiet for 2 days. Something bad is about to happen. And I think the best part of this season of my life is I'm comfortable. I'm just so comfortable, and I feel safe. And I think for women, safety is above everything else. Tell me on Valentine's Day I'm safe and leave the roses at the florist. To me, that's my love language, is to feel safe, because I've never truly felt safe. And that means your heart and what's important to you, and just even the little smallest things in life. If you know you're safe, and you can say anything and somebody's not going to look at you like, what? You're crazy. You can't do that, or that will never work out for you, or whatever. It's very, very refreshing. But yeah, and when you're young, you want the excitement and the thrill of the hunt, I guess. I think men especially love the thrill of the hunt, but just the butterflies and all the stuff that we think love is about.
Victoria, when you say safe, what do you mean by that?
When I say safe, it's very hard for me to describe. I need to feel like my heart is okay. I need to feel like I'm safe, I'm secure. Nobody's going to come in and hurt me. Nobody's going to, nothing bad is about to happen. It's just a sense from within of, I feel good. I feel safe. I feel secure. I don't have to lock every bedroom door or every door in the house to feel safe or okay. It's a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling. I think it's because I trust me now. And that's where it all comes from. I don't think another individual can give you this. I think it's when you get to the end of yourself and you realize, okay, we're on the same team, you and you, or you and your little self or whatever. And, we're going to be okay, because we're going to do what's right for you now. And we see where things didn't work out, and we see why. We have done the work. And I do think that it's nothing anyone can tangibly give you. I think it's something that once you do the work and you really lean in and find out all the jagged glass and pieces and stuff that you have to tear away to get to the core of who you really are. And even the shadow, like, that's built from 6 years on up or whatever, and to let all of that intertwine as one person. And not that I had 12 names or 12 personalities, but you get the drift. I mean, it's just something that comes from within, I think. And just like I think happiness comes from within, I think people can enhance our happiness. But I think true happiness comes from within. It's a place we get to in life that we're okay with us.
Yeah, that true
I think it's
relationship. is with yourself,
Yeah.
isn't it? The best
Yes,
relationship you're ever
absolutely.
going to have is the relationship you have with
Absolutely.
yourself. So,
Yeah.
Debbie, a few weeks ago you talked about like we always trying to find somebody and that would complete you. I
Right.
used to have that idea as well, but now I'm very comfortable with being single right now because I'm on my journey to find myself. And when I was in my 20s or teenager, like I always felt like I need to find somebody to complete me. But then nowadays, people always say like, if you don't love yourself, who's gonna love you? I didn't understand the true meaning of it because like somebody could love me even though I don't love myself. But I was not sure like who I really am. But now
You
I'm
hit
on
a
the journey. Yeah.
yes, and you hit on such an important thing. When we love ourselves, and I can tell you this from experience because y'all know the journey I've been on over the last 5 years or whatever, but it wasn't until I loved myself that I actually attracted the right person for me,
Right.
that I was actually able to connect with somebody that does believe in themselves, that does know who they are, that is confident in everything they do. And instead of all these shaky, shady individuals, because I was not loving myself. So how can you expect someone else to love you if you think, and you look at it, if you look at somebody, you're like, they don't even love themselves. I'm not going near that.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I ain't trying to get
Yeah.
trapped up in that, because you think of a person as being broken, and they're not. They're not all together. So that is very true. And the journey that you're now on, Tadao, finding yourself, and Furzana, you too, being a widow, and Debbie, what you went through, and all of the counseling and meetings and all of the things, you found out that it really was okay to love you and be you. And there's nothing we can fix. There's nothing, we're not fix it foxes. And I think when life is lived organically with love, it is just such a cool thing.
I think it's interesting because I agree with, I mean, everything you're all saying is hitting home with my love experience also. These different plateaus that we reach, I think we'll say for today's sake, like it's that level of self-love and connection with our highest self and God, and just that continual growth. So it's interesting we marry at such young ages in our culture, right? When we don't even really know ourselves all that well, or there's just a lot of life ahead, right? Especially big life changes and decision making and becoming adults. And so I really value partnership for life and value marriage. It's just, I look at it in such appreciation for those that actually manage to stay married for a lifetime and actually like one another. Because each person going through their own personal growth that for a lifetime, and then sometimes you're kind of connecting and then you drift apart a little bit and connect, but I mean you're staying true to your commitment and your life together, if you're a dedicated person to that relationship. And that takes a lot, because it's a lot to go on our own journey. It's a lot to support our spouse or partner going through their journey. Then if you have kids and all of their journeys, you can just see like, wow, you're pulled in so many directions. And yet, like we've talked about before, the most important thing is just me continuing to grow in my own self so that I can keep showing up for others. But along the way, things really can derail that process. So I always like to say, like, the longer that you work on your own self, or that even when you're in a relationship, the more you work on yourself, like it's like so much about what you are about, Furzana, but like that is what contributes to, well, my overall health. And then it's only going to return itself in the relationship. The hope is that that person, that partner, is able to flex and let you go on your journey. Sometimes that's hard for people to let go enough. They might need to cling to you. They might be afraid of your growth. There's a lot of responses that can happen when we change. I mean, I've grown so much spiritually outside of the box that I lived in when I met my husband, who's like a dear, dear man, which I haven't even shared yet about. But, when he married me, I was one particular way, and I'm already just such a different person, and that he's able to love me in all of these different phases, and journey with me and let me expand. And I encourage his expansion. Where, like, I think of my mom when I think of like how cute it is when someone's like, okay, this is my daughter. She loves koala bears and almond roca. So every birthday for my entire life. And I don't know when I stopped liking koalas and almond roca, but like probably I didn't ever stop liking almond roca till I became vegan. But But like we love to think we know somebody, that we can box them into like, this is who they are. But
Right.
if everyone's growing and changing, we have to be okay with not knowing and seeing that as beautiful, right? And hoping that our partners like okay with that. We wake up one day and it's like, I know I said that yesterday, or I was this, but I'm discovering this today. And sometimes that's hard to do. So
And
I really appreciate partnerships and true friendships that can flow with time. Like even a long friendship with same sex friends that like you go through life with, that aren't your spouse, but they're just, sometimes you separate for years and come back together in certain situations. I have this different view of partnership, and I really celebrate couples that are able to even look unconventional if it works for them, and dropping all of what the world is viewing and judging about any relationship, and just letting like life be for each individual and for each couple. Whatever works for one doesn't always work for the other. Some couples want to spend all their time together. Some are very independent of one another. Some travel well together. Some are like, you go with your friends. But whatever they work out, I believe in complete independence and choosing one another. Where my first relationship had a lot of codependence and unhealthy dependency, that whole idea of I need this person to complete me. Guess what, Deb? You don't see it this way when you're young or feeling like you're on top of the world, that I'm good. I don't have anything to change about myself. You feel like that. I felt like my spouse was the one who needed to change. But now when I look at that, it makes, if there's a lot of drama in your life and relationship, sorry, newsflash, spoiler alert, you're just as unhealthy. I was just as
absolutely.
unhealthy as my addict husband, right?
Yes.
But in that
Because
story, it's not in your awareness until
that's
later,
right.
right?
You hit it on the head, though, especially in the US. Everybody's an old maid if they're not married when they're 25 or whatever. But our frontal cortex, the part of our brain that makes decisions, is not even developed when you're 18 and getting married, or when you're 20 and getting married. It doesn't develop. And I look back and I was like, no wonder I've made such crazy choices. Also, and I never did this with my daughter because I kind of thought this from early on, but you have a little girl, and the first thing you do is shove a baby doll in her hand. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a baby. Look at what a good mommy you are. Da, da, da. I never did that. We always had pets and stuff like that, but I never wanted my daughter to think that life was just about her growing and creating another child, creating and being married and all of the things, because that's what we're paper cut. It's like paper dolls cut out to, okay, you grow up, you go to school, you get married, you have children, you live happily ever after. Who does? There's going to be some junk that happens. No matter how great you're interwoven, no matter how wonderfully matched you are, there are going to be hard times just as there are good times, because we're not robots. We don't all see eye to eye on every single thing. But it does get a lot easier when you're when you finally faced your own junk. I agree, Debbie. When you finally look at yourself and say, okay, maybe I had a part in that. You know, maybe if that part was just, I want to fix you. I want you to just be okay. I want you to be normal. What is normal? You know, like it's different to everybody, right? Like I don't think I know anybody normal. Thank you so much for watching AI Breakout, where our AI stands for authentic individuals. Please like and follow, and we love you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.